Hey guys, welcome to the video today. As you can see, we have a Jeep behind us. Uh, this one here, what we are doing is we're putting a Rubicon Express lift. It's a 2.5-inch lift on this Jeep. We've got some JKS disconnects that we're going to go in the front and things of that sort. You can see that we've just started on this. So we have removed the springs, the shocks, sway bar ends and things of that sort, and we're actually going to get started on back on the install on this thing. But anyway, this is a very easy lift to do. Realistically, we've only been working on this like maybe an hour and a half at the very most so far, and it'll take maybe about that much time to get this back together, and then we'll flip the Jeep around and we'll do the back. So anyway, yeah, we'll just show you as we go along here, just in some of the tips and tricks, just to get all this stuff installed, you know, in that respect, and we'll get this thing installed, because this thing's going to look great when it's finally lifted. Okay, so what we're doing right now is we do have to put these bump stops in, and we have to drill a hole, but we have to mark it first. And you want to get it pretty much center. So, and then doing this. Oh, there's not enough room. Let's see if I made a mark. Nope. Okay. Well, we'll have to do. Anyway, you got to punch this just so that you've got enough room in there. So that you've got it in the right spot. So that you can drill, because we do have to drill the hole. And it's a 5/16 hole that we have to drill. And it's a self-tupper screw that you've got to put in. So anyway, we're just going to do that right now. So just a little trick when you want to do your first spring, things about, or the front springs in that respect. Before you put your bump stop, rear bump stop, or the bottom of the bump stop in, what you got to do is you take it out completely after you've threaded the bolt and threaded the hole and all that kind of stuff. You have to stuff it inside the spring and then get the spring in place, because you won't be able to get it over the bump stop itself. So right now we got the ratchet, obviously, as you can see there, and we're just tightening it down in that respect. Make sure you get it seated where it has to be seated. It'll work up in the front in that respect on the top, but you just make sure you get it seated here in the spring perk. So just one thing to remember, you do have to disconnect this little bracket in here to take your brake lines out. So when you extend everything, just remember to put that back together before you get the bottom of your shock back in, because then you'll have to take it back out and get that in. And it is a 10 mil. It's a 10 mil nut or bolt that's there. So we're just going to drop this down again, get the bottom of the shock put in place, and then this side essentially is buttoned up other than the sway bars. So here's something here, because there's no, whoops, get the light turned around, because there's no nut on the back or the bottom of this shock here, like the factory shocks. What we're doing is just putting a pair of vice grips on just to hold the shaft in place, so you can get this top nut tightened down. And you only want to tighten it so when you just start to squash this this rubber bushing here. So when you're just starting to squash that, that's when you want to kind of stop. So there we go. We've got the front all completed. Everything's tight. Shocks. We just have to put the sway bar on it right now, but we'll wait. Well, now that we get the tires on, we could actually do the sway bars now, but we will do that here in a little bit. But anyway, we're just going to get this thing turned around and do the back. So we have got out the rear shock. We've also done the rear sway bar. We have the new ones that go in the back. And there's your difference between the factory shock and the 2.5-inch Rubicon Express lift shock. So you can see there, a couple inches in height on the rear shocks. Okay, so this bracket, as you can see here, this black one here, the brand new black one, that's what we need. That's the bracket, and that's how it fits in. As you can see there, that bolt there, that's your factory bolt. This empty bolt right there in front of the camera, that's the new bolt where your track bar is going to go in, and then it gives you another bolt to go up in there. And this is a 2010 JKU, just so everybody is aware. But yeah, so anyway, that's how that bracket goes in. Okay, so here we are. We have the rear shock. Well, we have the old shocks out. We got the rear sway bars out. We got the spring out on the passenger side. Driver's side, as you can see, it's probably just going to fall out here. But yeah, we got to watch those rear brake lines too. I just see that they're stretched pretty good. So yeah, we'll get that all tidied up. We're going to get the bump stops put in. As you can see over here, we have the rear bump stop installed. The brackets installed. We just install the shock. We'll get that here in just a bit though. But everything's coming along really well. Okay, to get this rear spring in, you're going to have somebody jumping on this axle. That's what I did. Ben got that scooted in there. And we just have to make sure it's set in there properly, which it is. Make sure you put the top rubber boot in there. You can see there, just that isolator. Make sure that is in there. And then, yeah, we're pretty much done this side, other than we got to hook up the bottom of the shocks, put our sway bars in, and I think we're pretty much done. So as you can see, we are almost done here. We just have our track bar to do up on this side, but we have our sway bars. We just have to tighten the bottom there. This top piece is tightened. Our track bar brace is all tightened up. Shock is all tightened up. Yeah, we're almost done. So we have the rear is all buttoned up. Everything is tight. Shocks are tight. Sway bars are tight. Track bar is tight. The bump stops are tight on that side. We did the same thing on this side here. So she is all together. So we're gonna get the tires on this now, and then we just have to do the sway bars, the JKS sway bars. So we have to do these babies here. Those are what we're going to put in the front. So anyway, we're going to get at this. Okay, so here's the JKS studs that we have to put on. So there's a difference with this bottom stud. This stud has a bit of like a point on it, I guess, in that respect. The stud that goes on this side here actually has, as you can see there, it's a flat sort of stud, just because of the spacing that's down in here. Okay, and then you can see we've got our stud there. This has like a little rubber bushing up here as well. And then we'll have to lengthen these properly, but the sway bar essentially goes on that. Then there is a hole in here to put your pin, and then that locks it all in place. Okay, well, that is completed on this Jeep. So our Jeep here, you can see we do have the 2.5-inch Rubicon Express lift on it. JKS sway bar disconnects in the front. She's got some new tires and wheels that are going to be going on in here pretty quick. But again, I just want to thank everyone for watching. If you do have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to give me a holler. What I'll do is I'll leave all the information down below for the sway bars, the lift itself, and things of that sort. So again, thanks again for watching, and have a great day.